Yeah, check see if we live. It's on the bottom page. We should be live though. Yeah, we live. Make sure you both can hear me. Yep. Alright, Shalom. Shalom, Shalom. It's the brothers from the GMS Raleigh, North Carolina camp back with Lord's willing. What is it? Post camp lesson. Before we go any further, with all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. The Lawrence, the Apostle, and elders, the great Muslim, teaching us the warm and truth according to the Bible well, and peace and blessings to all collected of the nation of Israel. Take their spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Shai. We're going to get to the Lord's edifying lesson titled Standing Upon Our Watch. Because we are the watchmen that Yahweh Shem Shai set up, starting with the apostles and elders, the great millstone. And what are we doing? We're watching for the prophecies, staying up with current events, different news outlets, and we're linking those things up with biblical prophecy. I remember when I first came to the truth, brothers will always say those things, but now when you get built up more, you actually understand, You got to be watching. You really got to watch the news, You got to understand the breakdown and prophecies of these scriptures so you can get comfort and understanding in these last days. Really Habakkuk 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can bring it up.
You going to say 1?
Yeah, sorry, 1.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
It reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower.
So that's what we do. We stand upon our high tower. The tower, the city, watching for incoming danger, incoming pending danger. And we out here warning you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which is Jerusalem. You see, the children of Israel, which consists of, once again, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, Yahweh Shema Shai has us standing upon the high tower to warn you, to blow the trumpet, to sound the alarm. Go ahead.
It reads on, verse 1, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved.
Go ahead.
Verse 2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables.
Yep, so that's what we're doing. When we, when the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, when they went to these scriptures, they broke it down, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, they made it plain upon tables, you see, and that's what we're doing. We're making the words of Yahweh Shema Shai plain upon tables that you may run that readeth it. You see, they may run to the highways and byways and to warn the people. Once you get the understanding, once you get built up, and then you can also take heed and run with it. You see? So these things are being easily broken down. You have meat. When you're a newborn baby, what you have to, it has to be, really you're going to start with the milk. Of course, but when you get built up, when you start eating meat, you start, you have to have your parent break it down. So this meat is being broken down. The prophecies and the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. Because even the basic stuff, You got precepts? Finish up verse 3. Precept.
Yep. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it.
Go ahead.
Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time.
For the vision being the revelation, or the prophecies of Yahweh Shema Shai. You see, it's for appointed time. If you're paying attention, you're watching, you understand that appointed time is now, especially dealing with the RFID chip, the MOB, the Revelations 13 and 16. You see, the mark of the beast. You see, understand, if you've been watching, you have the understanding of the scriptures that this is the appointed time that the Lord, declared of the end. You see, you got it.
It reads on, verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie.
And that's how we know that we at the end, because the visions of Yahweh Shema Shai are speaking loud and clear. You see? And it says, shall not lie, because the Most High, everything that he said was going to come to pass in this Holy Bible is coming to pass. The upwards of the people, the civil unrest, the famines, the earthquakes in diverse places, the wars and rumors of wars. You see, time of Jacob's trouble. We see these things, being being pushed to the max. You see, because they are those things are in the earth, but they're being how should I say, they're being heightened. Yahweh Shema Shai is increasing his judgments and his prophecies, his will upon the earth in these last days more and more. You got it.
It reads, though it tarry, wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it will surely come, it will not tarry.
Though it tarry, wait for it. Because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Like the brother was going into earlier when we were fellowshipping, we were talking how he had people, how you gonna say, they said you had the same attitude that you did a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. He said all hell's about to break loose. He said, I remember he said that a couple years ago. But we waiting for it. And as we wait, we are serving Yahweh Shema Shai with all fear and trembling. Brother Scott.
This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
That's right. And what's the measuring book? What's the tool of measurement? The Holy Bible, the Scriptures. The truth according to the Bible. You see, so we're measuring the times. Once again, the times that we're living in. Biblical times, because there's always been biblical times. Read one more time.
This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
So we gotta be diligent upon our watch, measuring the time. You see? Go ahead.
It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past.
How are we gonna see these things? Because we've been gift with the eyesight and that gift of faith to see. You see, the foresight to understand. You see, that these things were foretold from the beginning. You see? Go ahead.
Which I have told thee before.
Mm-hmm.
Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
That's right. So the highest, being the Most High, has begun to visit this world. And he's visiting this world by what? By bringing judgment upon it. Because
Let's go into it.
Yeah, okay, you got it.
Good. Verse 3. Therefore, when thou shalt be seeing earthquakes.
Is that not judgment? Earthquakes in diverse places. Ever since you had the Haiti earthquake, I believe like maybe 2008, maybe early 2000s. You had the Haiti, earthquakes have increased by then. And they've increased in size and multitude more and more. Good, in frequency. In the times that they happen.
It says, in uproars of the people in the world.
In uproars of the people in the world. Every time you turn on the news, you hear about COVID-19, protesters hitting the streets in these other countries. Here in America, you got BLM, protesting, marching. So what? These are the things that are happening in the world. You see, it was in 2010. Read it again. One verse.
Mm-hmm. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, verse 3. Therefore, when thou shalt be seeing earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
And are not those things happening? Uproars of the people everywhere. I mean, they said reports came out, I believe it was mid last year, there was more places having uproars of the people than not having uproars. So that tells you that the whole world is at disarray. And they talk about, scriptures talk about when the wicked are in authority, the people will mourn. You see, but when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice. So we know that the wicked, being Esau, Edom, so-called white man, is ruling the earth today. He's pushing those draconian laws in the earth, and people are fighting against it. But at the end, we know that Israel is going to get the victory, and that's what we're watching for. Yeah.
Then shalt thou well understand
Mm-hmm.
that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
That's right. So that's what we understand. And that's why brothers is moving and hasting onto the coming of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, that's why I see a lot of brothers on fire for this thing, because they have a clear understanding, of this thing coming to an end. You see?
Keep going on that.
Yeah, we'll give it a little more. I think it was a little bit more.
It says,
Hopefully,
Well,
it's
yeah.
on Kim 3, if you would.
for like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end. And the end is manifest.
Made manifest. Yep. So the end is being made manifest. Manifest means to reveal, to make known. So the end is being made known. Through the prophecies. Through Yahweh Shema Shai. Sending His servants the prophets and revealing these things unto you. What is it? Surely the Lord will do nothing, but He revealed His secret unto His servants the prophets. So the servants, the prophets, they go out there. Those things that we were revealed in secret, we go out there on the towers, and scream and shout them upon the hills. You see? You want it?
That's
Got it.
Proverbs.
Yeah, I think brother had precept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got that Proverbs. Or you have precept?
yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
You got it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet.
You want it?
Kind. That's right. It said also, I said watchmen over you. Who was the you? You so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. You Israelites. And the watchmen that have been set up over you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. First and foremost, someone that had apostles. Apostle Hart, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ronald Ricard, all the way down to brothers like ourselves. We're the watchmen that have been set up over you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. And as watchmen, what are we watching out for? Earthquakes in diverse places, famine, food and thirst, the famine of the word, uproars of the people, many other prophecies that are supposed to come to pass according to the Bible.
Yeah, that's right. We're looking for the prophecies that are written. I got a definition of watchman for you. Definition of watchman: a man employed to look after an empty building, especially at night. Sometimes Google doesn't have the best definition nowadays. But it says, let me go to the Oxford language, see if this is a better one. But I'm going to read this one again. I'll read it down. It says, a man employed to look after an empty building. So a watchman's job is to look after, It says, especially at night, it says, some synonyms are guard. It says doorman, a steward, I believe that's a person who looks after passengers on aircraft. So pretty much just a watchman, it's like a watch. Let me get a little better. The definition of watch, it says observe, view, look at, gaze at, appear, feast one's eyes on, watch like a hawk, keep a weather eye on, inspect. So that's really what the watchmen are doing. We're keeping our eyes, mainly focused on prophecy. What the will of Yahweh Shema Shai is. The things that He said that was going to happen from the beginning. And then what? As we see these things happening, us upon the high tower, since we have the aerial, advantage to see these things from afar off, you see what? We warn the people and tell you that the danger is coming.
This is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 17. Also, I said watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. And that's right. And that's what we do. We tell you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, week in and week out, all throughout the week, to hearken, to take heed to the trumpet, to this message, this word that we're preaching unto you. But 2/3 of our people of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, they're saying they won't hearken. They're not literally saying they won't hearken. They're showing it through their actions. We're out on the highways and byways week in and week out, got signs, posters, got on garments reading the Bible. And 2/3 of our people, they walk right on past. They fan their hand at us. They cover their ears. They cross the street. That's them not hearkening. We put up videos on the internet, YouTube, for edification for our people, And instead of watching the video, they'll go to something that ain't got nothing to do with the truth. That's too because our people not hearken. You know, so when Yahweh Shalom Shah got a Bible, bring judgment upon our people, it's going to be righteously so. Because the warning, the word is going forth.
That's right. Anyone that? You say that first, bro?
Yeah, I got the Proverbs.
Yeah, you can bring Proverbs, or you can bring your precept out. What are you gonna bring out?
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
So a prudent man, being a wise man, you know, he's been gifted with that foresight, you know, with the to be, you know, to see, you know, afar off. You see, and he seeth the evil and he hideth himself. Where is he gonna hide himself? He's gonna hide himself in the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the scriptures. You know, in the secret place of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, in the covering. You see, he's gonna be covered by the Lord. You know. Go ahead.
Resolve, but the simple pass on and are punished.
That's right. That's back on what the brother just read. You know, but we said we would not hearken. You know, here it is. We blowing the trumpet, telling you. We see the coming, the danger coming. You don't see it. You know, that's why. That's the whole point of the watchman, right? To tell you, you know, you appointed him as your watchman. You see, and we warning the people, and they said, "No, we good." You know, and that's what happens. You're gonna pass on, and when the enemies besiege the city, when Esau Edom comes down with that great wrath, you're going to be punished. You see, and it's gonna lead. That punishment is you go sit in the corner, time out. You know, you're gonna get put to death. You got it.
Got it.
I think we'll have one more precept. Yeah.
This is Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6. It reads, I have set watchmen upon thy walls. O Jerusalem.
You got it.
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls. Right, backing up with the precept from earlier. The Lord said watchmen. But the brother briefly said through the Spirit, that's the men that are set up, the apostles under this great millstone, and all the sincere brothers on down. And it reads on, O Jerusalem. You know, on the walls. You think back to, you know, ancient movies, you got a city surrounded by walls. At the highest point, there are men watching for oncoming things. Watching for whether it be good, bad, or what may happen, enemies, friendlies. And in this time where the men on the walls now, spiritually we're telling you that what's coming ain't good. What's coming are your enemies and death and destruction and things of such that we see. They brothers in name through the Spirit.
Yeah, you had the movie Troy. You remember when they were coming back and they were when the king's sons were coming back, they were blowing the trumpets, you know, celebrating.
Yeah.
You know, well, what happens when the army came?
Yep.
They were blowing the trumpet. Everybody was getting ready, and they show you again. They were at the end of the movie when the city got overtaken. What happened to the watchmen? They were sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, and it was at night. You know, they didn't stand upon their watch. And the city got overcame. So that's why the watchmen are so important.
That's right. And it reads on, I'll read again from the top, Isaiah 62, verse 6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, right? Being Israel, right? Because what Jerusalem, Israel, it's a people before it's a place. Talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And it reads on, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. That's right, never hold their peace day nor night, right? That's why you got brothers across the four corners of the earth. You know, at night, right now, we're putting up a live lesson, sending it up. You know, and then what? On the other side of the world, if the sun is up, brothers are pushing. Brothers are maybe on the highways and byways or pushing up some type of edification. Day nor night, you can't even keep up with the amount of videos that are being pushed out right now. Man. You know, especially with Great Millstone. But what? You know, we're pushing. Each member is pushing up a video a day. You know, you miss a day, they might post up 2 in one day. You know, so you know, there's no excuse. The men of the Lord are speaking.
Giving no rest.
It reads on, ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. Right? What does the scripture say? The scripture says there's a time for everything under the heavens. Roughly paraphrasing, and this is the time to speak. This is the time for the prophets to be calling out what they see through the Spirit. Man. The Spirit probably have that Shema Shai. The prophecies that are cracking off. Verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish until he made Jerusalem with praise on the earth, right? Gave him no rest until when? Until the Lord comes back and sets things right. Ushering in the kingdom of heaven, first and foremost through the Lord Yahweh Shai, right? No one will be a part of that number, and the Lord one will be delivered in that time. So we're not going to stop until the Lord gives us that cue, that notion to get off the highways and byways until it's that time.
The family of the word.
That's right.
There's always a time where the watchman, after he's done giving the warning, he has to haul ass too. You think he's going to stand upon the tower, in the warning cities, the wall has been besieged, No, the watchman, he gave the warning, now it's his turn to go and haul ass.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Go ahead, you have the precept, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, bring the precept out.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, came unto me, saying.
That's right, because the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, would always put his word in, certain members, certain men upon the earth's mouth, and they would speak his words, onto the people. And these days, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So if you claiming, to come in the name of Yahweh Shai, then what do you have to be doing? You have to be speaking prophecy, And that's all the men did, That's why the Lord said, well, I come in the volume of the book. Mm-hmm. You see, the prophets always prophesied. They always came in the name of Yahweh Shema Shai. You got it, bro?
It reads on, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people.
And that's what we do. We speak it unto our people. Like the brother said, it's a time to speak. Now's the time. The Lord, it's the appointed time that Yahweh Shema Shai has allotted for us to go out there on the highways and byways and to preach. But the scripture said what? But what? They mock the messengers of the Most High and misuse his prophets. To the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai arose against his people. So that wrath is about to come all because you didn't want to hearken. Mm-hmm.
It says, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land.
It said, when I bring. So the Lord is going to bring the sword. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He said, when I bring the sword upon the land, go ahead, that land, these times really be America, across the four corners of the earth. But the main destruction is going to be here in Babylon.
If the people of the land take a man of their coast.
And that's what you're doing, when you subscribe to certain brothers' channels. You're setting them up as your watchmen. So you watching ISUPK and IUIC, you setting those men up for your watchmen. And those men are dumb dogs. They're not barking. They're not warning you. Because a dog, and you have a dog, as soon as someone pulls up the driveway, they bark and let you know. It gets annoying, but that's their job. Read it again.
Mm-hmm. It says, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman.
That's right. So you subscribe to the men of the Great Millstone. You set them for your watchmen. And that's what we're doing. We out here warning the people. We're actually blowing the trumpet. So when we blow the trumpet, you're gonna be warned. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, real quick, just let what you said about subscribing to certain people and the dog. It's the same thing. Dogs are given a certain ability to, like the brother said, it might get known to you, but they have a certain ability to hear, a better sense of hearing, a better sense of smelling. So it'll save your life if you and bringing it to the truth. If the Lord has given the true men of the Lord, the true prophets, something that the believers might not have. They're able to see things and discern things through the Spirit. That's why, you can't just go on your own. You can't just have any Joe Smo. You can't just follow any.
But they're not breaking down the scriptures,
exactly.
Right?
So
because a dumb dog is a dog that won't speak.
Exactly.
And then what? These, you said dogs have heightened senses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what? These watchmen, they're blind and they're deaf. Meaning Yahweh Shema Shai, haven't given them the eyes to see nor ears to hear. Make sure your phone's going down.
Yeah.
It's ready?
Yeah, you got it.
God. Verse 3. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet.
You know, that's what we're doing. The men of Great Millstone, we are blowing the trumpet. Now, you other Jakes, you're not blowing the trumpet. You see, but what? I tell you, Ezekiel 14:9, it says, what? You know, it talks about how the prophet be deceived. I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet, and that the punishment of the people shall be that of the prophet. So if you were deceived, you know, into following the false prophet, it was ultimately Yahweh Shemel Shai that deceived you. You see, because they're blowing the trumpet, you know, but they're blowing the trumpet of what? The party. You know, to live it up. They're not blowing the trumpet, sounding that alarm for war. Yeah.
It says, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people.
And that's what we're doing by way of this lesson. Hey, we telling you that more evils are going to come, more deaths, more Jake killings. You see, Jacob is short for Jacob, the so-called Negroes like the other Native Americans. You see, who was what was his name? Derek.
Derek Chauvin.
The killer or
not yeah, the dude that the new dude that died. Nah,
the younger kid.
the Hispanic dude.
Deontay?
Something. Yeah, they all got weird names, but anyways, this dude, you know, he died. Getting pulled over. You know, if you look at the video looks like he looked like he might be from the Southern Kingdom, but if you sit down and watch some of his Instagram posts, look like he's from the Northern Kingdom. You know, they live with him as a so-called black man. You know, so that's how the tribes, all the tribes are going to be judged. You know, you have the Northern Kingdom getting their children taken away over there on the border. You know, so a lot of things is going on in the world right now, and judgment is only going to increase.
It says, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood should be upon his own head.
We heard the sound of the trumpet, but we good. Well, shit, that sounds good, but you've been blowing that trumpet for a little long now, so we don't think it's coming. They on this spirit of crying wolf, but no, we the men of Great Millstone started the apostle up. They have keen eyesight, so they seen the trouble coming from a far away off. They've been warning you this whole time. You see, you got it.
Verse 5.
I'm sorry, it said that their blood should be upon them. And then you're gonna be that punishment for you not hearkening is gonna be upon you. The men of Yahweh Shema Shai, the men that warned you, they're going to be guilty of that blood. You got it.
Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood should be upon him.
And how do you know? How does the Lord know? He heard the sound of the trumpet because his men was out there diligently. Everybody's heard about the Hebrew Israelites. You got the elder out there in South Carolina. And every time you're Israelite, he's like, yeah, I know. Everybody passed. Yeah, I know. You had the apostles and elders of Great Millstone at 34th and 7th, downtown New York. Everybody heard, people walking by all the time. You see? You got it.
It says he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood should be upon him.
Yep.
But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. You can have a chance to live. You see? Hey, you're going to be delivered from that destruction that's coming.
Last one.
Okay.
Verse 6. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet.
And that's why we stand upon our watch. If we don't blow the trumpet, go ahead.
But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood will require at the watchman's hand. So
that wicked man is going to die. And since you had the knowledge and you stepped upon your talent, you have the talent, the 3 men with the talent. One man was given 1, 1, 4, and 1, 5. You see, with those are some. Come on, that's how you know this is the Lord comes in the volume of the whole book. You can't just start at Matthew and then you're gonna have a proper understanding of the Bible. You see, so the Lord's saying if you don't come out here and warn the people, you hide your talent under a napkin. You see, you're going to be penalized for that. You know, the Lord is going to judge you because what the scripture say, what? Love thy neighbor as thyself. You were warned, you know, so you showing love to your people by warning them. You know, because we preach a message of love, you know, it's not a message of hate. That was it? You had a precept?
Yeah.
Come on. We'll got one or two more.
This is Joel.
We'll close out Amos 3 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see that.
I got that.
Okay,
You got that?
You got it.
You got it.
This is Joel.
This is Joel chapter 2 verse 1.
We'll close out Amos.
This is Joel chapter 2 verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
And that's what we do. You know, we're blowing the trumpet, sounding the alarm of war, telling you what World War III is coming, more civil unrest, an economic collapse of a whole society, a civil war. You know, this is what's coming to America. When you go to your grocery store, there's not going to be any food on the grocery stores. That's the famine. You know, your neighbor, you know, Billy and Bob, you know, that were your best friends, always inviting you to the cookout. Well, they know that you have, you know, food reserves, and they're gonna be breaking into your house and stealing it. You know, they're gonna take your woman. You know, they always been, you know, looking at. You see, they're gonna put you to death. That's the reality of what's coming to America. You know, you got it.
It reads on, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
And that's what we do these lessons for, so that you may tremble, you know, and through the terror of Yahweh Shema Shai, you may repent. You see, you're supposed to be trembling at the judgment that's coming. When we tell you that when you know, World War III, a nuclear war is coming, that should make you tremble. You know, but what are people lolly up the street? You know, like nothing's gonna happen. Well, judgment is gonna come knocking on your door soon enough.
It reads again. It reads on. For let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
And the day of Yahweh Shema Shai is nigh, and we know these things to be measuring the times. Amos 3 and 6. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, we'll close out on Ezekiel 7:14. I like this one. Got it.
This is Amos chapter 3 verse 6. It reads, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?
That's right. That's a rhetorical question. You know, obviously, if a trumpet is being blown in the city, especially the trumpet we've blown, everyone should be afraid. You know, an actual trumpet was just blown, you know, downtown. You know, here it is. They hear gunfight, gunshots. Everybody's running. You know, so yeah. So if a trumpet is blown in the city, the people should be afraid. You see, you got it.
It reads on. Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it?
Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh Shema Shai have not done it? You know, what do you think? Obviously, the Lord is the one bringing these evils. You see, so the Lord, you know, He's the one that's bringing, you know, these calamities, these uproars of the people, these famines, these civil unrest. He's the one doing these things. So these evils, these bad times that are being brought, these different pestilence, these lockdowns, this is all the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. And His will is for them to get worse. You got it. We'll put it on this.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14.
Yeah.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14. They have blown the trumpet. That's right. It said they have blown the trumpet. And who's doing that? You know, the true watchman is coming in spirit and power Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, the ones who are going to worship Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, in spirit and truth. Which again, that's talking about Apostle and Elder Great Millstone, down the younger brothers like ourselves. We're blowing the trumpet, this word.
That's right.
And who we're blowing it to until you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, Israelites. It says they have blown the trumpet, even to make already. That's right, you know, because us blowing this trumpet until you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, we're not blowing this trumpet just to be blowing it. We're blowing this trumpet to get you ready for what's going to come down the pipeline, what's going to take place upon the face of the earth. Because like the brother Azam was just going into, you know, you're going to have a famine coming down in the near future. You know, you're going to have more uprisings of the people, more police shootings, more killings between you so-called Negroes, like the American Israelites. You're gonna have more hurricanes, more floods. You name it, the list goes on and on. So we're blowing this trumpet to you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, trying to get you ready for the battle, what's getting ready to come upon the face of the earth.
Yeah, the hurricane season's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were talking in California that these they're already prepping. For these California fires.
Mm-hmm.
They said this is going to be the worst year ever. They've been bad the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You had Paradise, Paradise, California get burned up. So hey, it's gonna get even worse this year. They talking about the big one in California. A lot of judgment gonna come to California because they were wicked as hell out there. But the men of Yahweh Shema Shai out there are gonna be protected.
This is Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 14. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle, because this is a spiritual battle. We're not going to a physical battle because the scriptures tell you that our weapons of our warfare are not carnal. This is a spiritual battle. And to our people, if you can see, they're not trying to go to the spiritual battle.
They're not putting on that armor, the breastplate of righteousness,
That's right.
the shield of faith. They're not preparing themselves for this spiritual war because the scriptures say you're going into, we fight against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Right.
You see, so you got to prepare yourself for this spiritual battle and come eat this spiritual meal. Repent, turn back to Yahweh Shema Shai, because that's the only way you're going to be able to avoid these calamities. You got to repent and be converted that your sins may be blotted out.
It says, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. So because, at the end of the day, because 2/3 of these so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, are not trying to get right and return back to Yahweh Shema Shai, by this one that's going out, by the prophets. Yahweh Shema Shai is going to bring his wrath upon you. And you're starting to see, some of the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai coming upon 2/3 of these so-called Negroes, Latin Americans. That's why a lot of my people are dropping dead in these last days.
Mm-hmm.
But,
You have something to bring up and close out? God, Lord's willing, you are edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. The warning, starting with the apostles and elders of great Muslims going out, repent. For the kingdom of heaven is at hand, it's fastly approaching. And the kingdom of heaven being approaching, meaning what? The end of Esau world. The end of this man's kingdom. And thus with violence shall the great city of Babylon be overthrown. So these calamities are going to come, and ultimately the cherry on top is going to be these 200 million ICBM nuclear missiles, with nuclear warheads. This next World War III. And that Lord's only brothers edified with all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Karkadash. That honors the apostles and elders of great Muslims, teach those 1% truth, according to the Bible well, and peace and blessings so far to the nation of Israel. Next time we say, Shalom.
Shalom.